This restlessness wasn't random. It was a sacred summons disguised as discomfort. You weren't abandoned. You were hidden. You weren't broken. You were branded. What you thought was delay was design. Was it loneliness, or was it the language of heaven separating you for something holy? Was it rejection, or was it heaven's protection, shielding you from what couldn't touch your destiny? Stay until the end, because what you're about to hear may explain the ache you've carried for years, why nothing ever quite fit, and why the doors that closed may have been locked by God Himself to protect the scroll sealed with your name. This is no coincidence. Your soul was drawn here, to Chosen One's sanctuary, where the concealed are confirmed and the marked are made ready. Even before you cried your first cry, heaven whispered your assignment. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. And if God knew you, then He also knew the fire you'd walk through, the silence you'd endure, and the wilderness you'd call home. Stay, because what comes next may explain your entire life. Isolation wasn't punishment. It was promotion. Before your name was known in the earth, your spirit was summoned in the heavens. But heaven never sends a voice without first sealing it in silence. Isolation was not evidence of being forgotten. It was proof of divine proximity. Like Moses exiled in the desert, like David tending sheep while his brothers stood before kings, like Joseph in prison while his dreams collected dust. God always hides what He intends to reveal in glory. The world called it loneliness, but heaven called it consecration. You weren't buried. You were planted. The silence wasn't absence. It was divine surveillance. Every unseen tear, every unanswered prayer, every moment of invisible suffering was watched by the One who hides His jewels until the time is full. You weren't delayed. You were disguised, held back not to punish, but to preserve. Because what you carry couldn't be exposed too soon. The oil on your life had to settle before it could pour. And now, the time of hiding is ending. But before you rise, you must understand the reason you were hidden at all. What if the cave you cursed was the womb of your coronation? Your mission is not about you. It's about who's waiting on you. God doesn't raise chosen ones for applause. He raises them for assignment. Every gift in you was planted with someone else in mind. The calling on your life is not a crown to wear, it's a cross to carry. Esther wasn't chosen because of beauty. She was chosen because a nation was trembling. Joseph wasn't promoted for comfort. He was positioned for preservation. The oil on your head is for the famine they haven't seen yet. You carry blueprints for people you haven't met, words for souls who are drowning, solutions for wounds you don't even know exist yet. Your pain gave you compassion. Your delay gave you vision. Your rejection gave you access. You were not chosen to be seen. You were chosen to see, and then to serve. But the weight of this mission cannot be carried in pride or fear. Only those who know how to kneel can be trusted to lead. Who is waiting on your obedience? You must embrace your spiritual gifts, or risk spiritual starvation. There are gifts in you, buried under years of self-doubt, religious fear, and trauma. But they are not dormant. They are divine. Your sensitivity isn't weakness, it's discernment. Your dreams aren't random. They're encrypted messages from heaven. Your intuition isn't paranoia. It's prophecy in seed form. Your spirit has been hearing things your mind wasn't ready to understand. Romans 11:29 says the gifts and calling of God are without repentance. He didn't change His mind. You did. But now heaven is circling back, asking if you're finally ready to carry what was always yours. Your dreams, your words, your hands, your voice, all sacred tools, all waiting for activation. Don't bury your gifts just because no one clapped when they surfaced. Hell fears what you haven't even used yet. If this resonates, comment 404 as a sign you're still listening, and heaven is still speaking. Because what you don't activate may never be heard by the ones assigned to your light. What if your unused gift is someone else's unanswered prayer? Protect your light, because the darkness already knows who you are. You've been under attack since the cradle, not because you were weak, but because hell saw your scroll before you did. Some of you were targeted in childhood, surrounded by chaos, haunted by shame, lured by addiction, betrayed by blood. This was not random. This was resistance. Like Pharaoh ordering the death of Hebrew babies. Like Herod hunting the Messiah. Every chosen vessel faces demonic interception. The enemy tried to break you before you could awaken, because he knew once you rose, it was over. Your life has been spiritual warfare in disguise. But here's the mystery. The same fire that was meant to consume you forged your armor. Do not ignore this. Spiritual warfare is real, and your light, your frequency, your calling already disrupts realms you cannot see. Protect your peace like a prophet guards the temple. Not everyone can have access to you. Not everyone should, because when you shine, you expose. And some people liked you better confused, small, and quiet. But that version of you no longer exists. Find the others, because you were never meant to rise alone. The enemy isolated you, but God never designed you to journey alone. There are others, scattered like sparks across the earth, carrying fire in silence, bleeding in private, burning with purpose. You'll know them when you meet them. The way your spirit leaps, the way your pain finds a mirror, the way your gifts begin to flow again. Just like Elijah thought he was the last. But God said, I have reserved 7,000. There is a remnant, a family, a rising, chosen ones. Sanctuary is more than a channel. It's a trumpet for the scattered. You don't need a crowd, but you do need a covenant. And what if the person you've been praying to find has been praying to find you too? In the end, the chosen always win, but only if they don't quit. The battles are real. The pain is deep, but the ending is already written. You were chosen, not for ease, but for eternal impact. Like Job, who lost everything. Like Joseph, who was betrayed. Like Jesus, who was crucified. But what they carried couldn't be buried. If the victory hasn't come yet, you're not at the end. Keep walking. The crown is for those who endure, not those who impress, not those who perform, but those who refuse to let go of the promise, even when they limp toward it. And now, you've come too far to turn back. Too many scrolls depend on your voice. Too many chains will only break when you move. You are not weak. You are weathered, and you are still standing. The storm wasn't your grave. It was your graduation. The next sound you hear may be the gates opening. You weren't just overlooked. You were overprepared in secret for an hour that is now upon you. Every shadow you walked through, every whisper that tried to convince you you were nothing, every tear cried in rooms no one saw, was heaven's way of engraving authority on your spirit. You are not who the world tried to name. You are who God set apart before time remembered itself. And now, your scroll is opening. You are not in the valley anymore. You're at the gate. And the next step you take isn't random. It's royal. You have been hidden. You have been honed. And now, you are being heralded. If this word pierced something deep, comment 777 as your prophetic agreement. If a sentence stirred your spirit, or a section felt like it was written just for you, share it in the comments. Your voice may confirm someone else's awakening. And if you know you're part of something larger, part of a global remnant of fire-branded souls, subscribe to Chosen One Sanctuary. This is your spiritual home. You are not alone. You are the next echo.